a slave boy, rejected at the market because of a defect in his eye. But this boy became the most feared warrior on earth. He crushed the Mongols, destroyed the Crusaders, and saved Islamic civilization when no one else could. This is Baibars, from slave to sultan, the lion of Islam. 1223, the Kipchak steppes of Central Asia. A boy was born named Mahmud, who would become known as Baibars. When he was young, the Mongols invaded his homeland. His entire family, everything, destroyed. He was captured and sold into slavery. In the slave markets, he was passed around, but there was a problem. One of his eyes was blue, the other brown, a condition called heterochromia. People said it was bad luck. No one wanted him. Finally, a merchant in Damascus bought him dirt cheap and then sent him to Egypt, to the Mamluks. What was the Mamluk system? They would buy slave boys and transform them into the most elite warriors in the world. Swordsmanship, horsemanship, archery, every skill of war. And Baibars, he excelled at everything. His strength, his tactical mind, his determination. He was different. By 1240, he wasn't just another soldier. He had become one of the deadliest warriors in the Mamluk army. 1260, the Mongols were advancing on Egypt. The entire Muslim world was in danger. Sultan Qutuz assembled his army, and he made Baibars his vanguard commander, because he knew what Baibars was capable of. At the Battle of Ain Jalut, Baibars executed a brilliant strategy. He set a trap. He provoked the Mongols with hit-and-run attacks and lured them into a valley. When the battle began, Baibars' cavalry struck the Mongol flanks with devastating force. Their coordination, their timing, it was perfect. And when Sultan Qutuz raised his helmet and cried, "Wa Islama, O Islam," Baibars led the final charge that broke the Mongol lines. That day, Baibars became a legend. But after the victory, something else happened. There were tensions between Qutuz and Baibars. Qutuz had denied Baibars certain rewards. Baibars felt he'd been treated unfairly. On the journey back to Cairo, Baibars assassinated Qutuz and declared himself sultan. Was it betrayal or necessity? History still debates this question. From 1260 to 1277, Baibars transformed the Muslim world. First priority, removing the Crusaders. For 200 years, Crusader kingdoms had occupied Syria and Palestine. They built fortresses that seemed inconquerable. But Baibars was different. He didn't just fight, he thought. 1265, Baibars attacked Khazaria. 1 week, and the city fell. 1266, the fortress of Safad. People said this castle would never fall. Baibars besieged it and broke through in just 1 month. 1268, Antioch. This was one of the oldest and most important Crusader cities. Baibars struck so fast the Crusaders couldn't organize a defense. And when the city fell, Baibars did something psychological. He wrote a letter to Antioch's defeated prince. In that letter, he described in detail how his city had fallen, how his people had been defeated. This wasn't just warfare, this was psychological warfare. Baibars wanted the Crusaders to be afraid, and it worked. One by one, Crusader fortresses fell. Jaffa, Safad, Beaufort, Crac des Chevaliers, all fell to Baibars. In just 17 years, he nearly ended a 200-year Crusader presence in the Holy Land. But Baibars wasn't just a warrior, he was a genius administrator. He created something that had never existed before, the Barid system, an intelligence and communication network spanning the entire Mamluk Sultanate. In every major city, he built pigeon houses. Messages were sent by carrier pigeon. A message from Cairo to Damascus, 24 hours. In that era, this was revolutionary. Baibars always knew what was happening everywhere. If an enemy made a move, Baibars knew first. He also placed spies throughout the region. in Mongol courts, in Crusader castles, everywhere he had eyes and ears. And infrastructure? Baibars built roads and bridges. He established postal stations so his armies could move rapidly from one theater to another. This wasn't just government, this was an organized system of control. 1277, Baibars was 54 years old, but he still wanted to fight. He launched one more campaign in Anatolia against the Mongols. He won, but on the return journey, something went wrong. One account says he accidentally drank poison. Another says he drank kumis, a Mongol fermented milk drink that had gone bad. July 1st, 1277, Sultan Baibars, the Lion of Islam, died. He was born a slave and became a sultan. He was considered defective and became a legend. He saved the Muslim world when no one else believed it was possible. His tomb stands in Damascus to this day. People remember him. Arab children grow up hearing his stories. Because Baibars wasn't just a sultan, he was a myth, a legend, a symbol that no matter where you start, you can reach the heights. A slave boy, rejected because of his eyes. But that slave proved destiny is made, not given. Baibars showed that no matter how low you start, you can touch the sky. If you have courage, if you have determination, and if you refuse to give up. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment. What historical figure should we cover next? In our next video, we'll talk about Saladin, the man who recaptured Jerusalem and became one of history's most legendary warriors. See you then.